Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be exploring creating our own loops in Soundtrap, our own instrument loops, using the available instruments provided. And the reason we're going to do this is because this will allow you to create your own melodies, not necessarily relying on the melodies that are in here. If you remember from tutorial video 2, where we were building this song from the loops, we got to the point where we got a pretty solid instrumental basis, and we'll just play it here and give you an idea what we're talking about with this second half of the song. You get the idea. Now, as you can see, since that video, I added this second half here, which is largely the same. But if this just went on all on its own, it would be a bit boring, a bit repeaty. And the reason I added this was so down here I could add a melody, like a lead melody that would make this a little more interesting. So I'm going to show you. I already made one. I'm going to recreate this melody so you can see how I did it. So first thing I'm going to do is add a new track. And for this one, I went with the synthesizer. But I'll just give you an idea. There are you can use piano and keyboards. There are guitar and bass sounds through the keyboard interface. I haven't tried these yet. There's also an option to create your own drum beats. I'm going to do a separate video on that because that's also quite useful. Guitar and bass amp. This is to plug your own instrument in. And they've got string samples as well, and brass and woodwinds. But yeah, we are going with the synthesizer. So you notice after we've selected the synthesizer, it gives us this interface down here. And you can click on these to play them, or if you notice that there are keyboard keys, like your keyboard, your letter keyboard, your typing keyboard, on this keyboard. So if you just and you can play chords as well. Now, that on its own doesn't do you a lot of good, but what you can do is set up the cycle mode, right? Let's go ahead and turn that on. And you can play along with your own song. Turn it up so you can hear it. Enough. You get the point on that. So that's, great. You can get an idea of what it sounds like. But what about making a pattern? That's going to be the next thing we do here. So I'm going to go ahead and click in front of that instrument that I just created on the timeline here. and this creates a region. And what the region does is it gives you a space down here in the piano roll. So I was in instrument, and then I went to piano roll to compose. Now you might think like this space is looking really small, and I'd agree with you, so we're going to zoom in. Now this is going to give us plenty of room to arrange our notes. So you create a note by left clicking, or do you? Hold on a sec, what's going on here? Why doesn't this one work? There we go. Oh, you double click. Silly me. Okay, double left click to create a note. So we got no notes, double click, and it creates a note. Now that's just one long note there, and we can kind of arrange some notes. If you click and drag, now one thing is, if you don't know what note you want to start with, a good place to start is the key that you're in. So the key is E minor, so the note there is E, and we're going to start with that. Okay, so you can just drag your playhead back to the start now that you've put some notes in there. And okay, we're actually getting somewhere. How about this last note drags out a little further? Okay, not bad. But right now it's only repeating one time. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and have it loop. Same way you would with any other pattern. We're going to have it loop 4 times. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, that's not bad. It seems like because of the way this Flutterwave instrument works, it wants to kind of lag behind the beat a little bit. I'm not really into that, so we're going to try a different instrument altogether. That is... let's try the German lead. Okay. Ooh, that might be kind of overpowering everything. Let's just go through and try a bunch of different ones. Let's set our loop area so it's just, well, let's just loop this whole thing out all the way to the end of the song, just so we can listen to it a bunch. So we could go through those forever and go, I kind of like this, don't like this. I already know which one I'm going to end up on. Milky Bells. You see, I used it over here. So, I didn't end up, when I made this before, I didn't use this melody. This was just a simpler melody, so I could show you how to do it. But I did something to this. I thought there was a little too much high, and also it was just a little bit too clean sounding, so I went into effects. Now we can do a much deeper dive on effects, but I clicked add effect and I added overdrive. And this is just to soften it a little bit and add some distortion. At the time, I quite liked how that sounded, but it's too loud, so we're going to dial it back down. Alright. So that's kind of good all on its own, but I'm going to want to do something a little more complex. So first thing is, we're not going to want that repeating that many times. That's going to get pretty old. So we'll leave this first half because we get enough of a change in what's happening in the song from this point. Oh, let's loop it back just a bit more. So that's enough change here. We don't need to also add another lead instrument to it. But then when you get to this point, oh, yeah, this is, okay, so how it works is we have 1 and 2. So at this point, right here at beat number 29, we're halfway done with this section. So in the second half of this section is when we're going to introduce this instrument here. So yeah, so not bad. It adds a little bit more to it. It makes it so we can keep this beat going, but we've added another element to make it more interesting to listen to. But I'm going to change this up completely because I think this melody is too simple. So wish me luck in remembering how I made the more complex melody that I ended up using. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is delete, 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 delete. Okay, and then we're going to double click. Okay, let's see. Okay, do, 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 do. Yeah. I'll just play for you the melody that I'm going to try and put in here. Oh, not quite. That's going to be the melody. I'm going to widen this region out to twice as long as it was because I remember that that's how much room I need here. So you noticed before these regions were piling up on each other. So we can grab this and drag it out. And that's just how much are you going to compose before it loops again. Do, 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 do. think I'm off the beat here. Yep. And you just need to really play around with this. Oh, I don't want to increase the width of that one. And figure out, like, what's the width of these bars that gives you a given rhythm in your melody here. Okay, that's what I wanted. And what I wish it did was when I play a note on here, I wish it would light this up. It doesn't do that for some reason. It would be really helpful. So what you need to do instead is just mouse over it and click on it to find out the note. Because I want it's that note, and we can just follow it over. It's this white one. All that talking, I forgot where I was. Okay. And you see, I want that rhythm to, it's going to be different notes, but the rhythm is going to be the same. So this part and this part have the same rhythm. So I'm just going to look at it and go, okay, I got one that's 3 little bars wide, one that's 2 little bars wide, and one that's 1, and one that's 4. So if I repeat those numbers on this part, then I'm going to have the same rhythm. If you click and hold on your note, then you'll be able to hear what note it is. But also if you drag it around, you can hear it. So this one needs to be 4. And then my next part, so that's what I'm at right now. Oh, sorry. The keys I'm pressing are right next to the space bar. So I gotta do the do 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 do. This would happen. My cat's scratching to get in the door. Let me just open the door real quick. Bear with me. Come on in, cats. Come on in. Oh boy. Probably have to cut this one out of the video. We'll see. Okay. Now you see, I can't add any more notes here, even if I wanted to, because this is actually the repeating spot. But let's say instead of it looping, I wanted to... Oh, these cats, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay. Let's say what I wanted it to do instead. I'm not trying to move it here. What I want to do is stop the looping, because I want to make some subtle variations on how this pattern repeats itself. I want to change these ending notes. So instead of going like, excuse me. Instead of it ending like that every time, it could go, or more like that. So I want to incorporate some of these endings. So what I'm going to try to do here is copy and paste. And that has worked exactly how I hoped it would, because I have all my notes here, but I can edit them. It's like the same copy I have with the loop, except I can change this. Okay, so let's listen to that. Hey, look at that. That's pretty good. I think this, I'll have this first pattern just repeat as it was, and then for the fourth one I'll just paste it in again, but this one I'm going to change to something like, yeah. Go down. There we go. No, that's not the rhythm I wanted. Sorry, it looped all the way back to the left. It seems like these are coming in too late. Let's listen to that again. Drag that out so it doesn't loop back like that. Here. I mean, that's kind of cool too, but it's not quite what I had in mind. So I'm going to take that. Sorry, I'm trying to shift and select all of these and move them. There we go. That works great. And then this note just needs to get a little longer. Okay, let's listen to this. Yeah, there we go. So just those little differences. Just let's listen through this section and just listen for those little differences that I added in. And that's enough variation. Because people like repeating patterns in music, but they also like things to change just slightly unexpectedly. And that's what we have here. So in this video, you've seen selecting an instrument, hearing what they sound like. That's very weird. That one's very intense. And then we made our simple pattern and played through. And sometimes it might be good to make a simple pattern first and loop it through like we did. We had our section where we thought it was going to go. And then just loop it through and play the pattern over and over again, the simple one, and change through your instruments and see what sounds the best. And you can change when you click on this. Just because you selected synth to begin with doesn't mean you have to stick with that. You can change it through keyboards, guitar and bass, strings, brass and woodwinds. Right. So you don't need to stick with synth just because you originally chose that. But yeah, and then we got rid of our simple pattern and made a more complex pattern and copied and pasted so we could vary the endings of it to make it more interesting. So yeah, that is the basics of using the piano roll. It's easy to get lost in doing it, but just really all you got to remember is to create a region. Just go over it again, just very quickly, just to show you how simple it is to get started, because I showed you a lot of information. I think a little recap would be a good idea. So let's start from the very beginning. Add a new track. Let's go piano this time. Okay, doesn't matter what instrument you choose. Click somewhere in front of the track to create a region. Make your region as wide as you would like it to be for the amount of composing that you're going to do. You can do a short region and loop it a bunch, or you can do a long region, or you can do shorter regions and copy and paste them like I did here, so I could change them a little bit instead of just straight up looping them. Create your region. You might want to bring your cycle bar over here, maybe just like that, so you can listen like that. Might want to play some stuff on your keyboard. Get an idea of the sound you want. Choose your starting note, which is usually the same key. Not always, but it's a good place to start to use the same note that your key is in. In this case, that's an E. And it'll tell you that when you place it on here. So you're like, where's E? There's E. You double click to... Well, now it's back to single click. You know what? When in doubt, double click, but I guess sometimes single clicking works just as well. And look at this, I made all these notes. What I didn't show you is how to get rid of notes, which is to press backspace. Click on it. And then to make the notes wider, just drag them out like that. Go to the edge, you see the arrows with the bar. And when you listen to it, you might very easily hear where it's wrong. And then you can vary up the rhythm of the notes. You can even do chords by putting notes that are on top of each other. Alright, that's enough recap, I think. Play around with it, have fun, make your own melodies. And that's the end. Goodbye.